tastes like burning.
So Pacific Rim was released this weekend, up against Grown Ups 2, the new Adam Sandler movie. And despite the enormous difference in reviews, Metacritic score, Rotten Tomatoes score, everything like that, Grown Ups 2 still managed to outpace Pacific Rim, which is very, very disappointing to me because Pacific Rim is one of those really great movies that you just can't help but love everything about. And it got me wondering, do the reviews that we do really even matter to the general public as far as what they see, what they buy, the things that they care about? I don't want to feel like I'm slitting my own throat here or anything, but it's just really a big concern for me that a fantastic movie like Pacific Rim put up against one of the lowest brow comedies released this year, and the good movie still doesn't win. Despite all the great reviews, the glowing reviews for it, and the absolutely abysmal reviews for the newest Adam Sandler movie, which to me, the guy's just been on a kind of a downward spiral for a long time anyway. But it's also something that kind of transfers over into gaming as well, because the Metacritic score, it's a collection of all the reviews posted online, newspapers, everything like that, about a particular game, or, to a lesser extent, even movies. And it just makes you wonder if those collective scores even affect the sales of a game. Because it's also one of those things, you can't even trust the user scores on this website because a lot of them are actually fake profiles just to kind of hype up the game. And this is something where, Metacritic has become one of those kind of standpoints where the score that a game does receive does affect the sales of the game. And it's something that I'm not really comfortable with. I'm not going to lie, I have gone after it and looked up certain games to see whether or not they're worth the purchase, because as movies and games become more and more expensive every year, it does lend itself more to where you want to know if you're getting the most for your money. But at the same time, it's how much does once you see something and you've taken it and you have your own thoughts about it, how much does it actually change your opinion of a movie when you see a review for it or a different score than what you might have given it yourself? One of the prime examples that I can think of from my own history, and I'm not going to go back on how far back it was, but the game Dark Cloud came out for the original PlayStation 2. And I think I really just gave away the age of how far back I'm going. But it was one of those games where it was a Zelda clone, but it was one of the more first kind of Zelda clones out there. And since I never grew up with an N64 or anything like that, this was really the closest I could get to that Zelda experience, that kind of Zen gaming. And I had a fantastic time with it when it was released. And finally, I received my GamePro subscription. I got the magazine in the mail, and I quickly looked at the review for Dark Cloud, a game I thoroughly enjoyed. I played constantly, and I was literally almost at the end of the game. And back then, GamePro was on a 1 to 5 scale, and they gave it a 3.5. And they kept talking about all the disappointing things about it. And even though I hadn't experienced that myself, it completely changed the way that I was thinking about the game, so much so that I actually went and traded it in for another game. And that's something that I kind of regret now, because I actually went back and found the game again and then looked up the Metacritic score, and it's one of the higher rated games of the PlayStation 2 era, which was really disappointing to me that I didn't get to fully experience the game whenever it actually did come out, just because I had that one review in my mind that completely changed the scope of the game and the way that I enjoyed the game. And this is something too where it has a complete reversal. There will be games out there that have a very, very high Metacritic score, but I don't get that same kind of enjoyment out of it that other people did. XCOM, Enemy Unknown is one of those prime examples where it has a very high score, and I kept wanting to play it, and finally Sony put out the PlayStation Plus version where you get the full game for yourself, and I kept trying to get into it, but strategy games just really aren't my thing, no matter how much I wanted to enjoy this game that everybody seemed to love. There's pros and cons to it. It's really just a double-edged sword that, really in the end, the only thing you really need to trust is your friends and your own basic opinion, because what you enjoy might be something that some reviewer somewhere found something flawed in it and just decided right then and there that they weren't going to like that movie. Prime example is Man of Steel. Fantastic movie, but it's sitting at like a 56% score on Rotten Tomatoes just because everyone wanted to see that good golden boy image of Superman, and that really doesn't fly nowadays. Despite all the love, all the attention, all the numerous times that many people have actually watched this movie, it still only gets that halfway score between good and bad. It's just really something that isn't going away. It's going to continue to evolve as the internet grows, as gaming as a culture evolves, and as movies continue to change throughout the years. I'm going to be here for a while doing this stuff, hopefully for a very, very long time, and I'm going to continue to put out my own opinions of games and of movies, and I hope that you guys will stick around, but at the same time, forge your own opinions, forge your own experiences, and take away from it what you will.
And that's the way the brownie crumbles.